Since this is thank you. Okay, let's do the pledge because we should always do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do a roll call.
We have, it's not on it, but we should do the roll call.
Okay, I guess we'll start doing the roll call. We'll start with Mr. Bourne.
Al Bourne here. Jerry Good here. Matt McCracken here. John Gamelke here.
Tony Perry here.
Rusty Neal here.
Rebecca Anderson here.
Martin Weatherford here.
All right. So quick chair report. So we're having this special meeting because of my mistake on timing. We submitted the agenda ahead of the timeline, but because of a technical issue, it didn't get posted until 38 minutes later than the deadline. And so technically our January 10th meeting is now considered a special meeting. And we couldn't vote at anything at a special meeting. So it's the chair's fault based on not allowing for enough time to deal with technical issues. As we've been spinning up, the city has allowed us to plug into their Civics Plus program, which is tied into the website. So for posting documents and notifications and meeting information. And I think we have most of those kinks worked out. We still probably have a few more, but the good news is we will definitely post everything ahead of time to account for any technical glitches. So I apologize for getting you up early this morning. And the final thing on the chair report, the February meeting will be a lot of information. So plan on spending several hours. We had Rusty Neal and I had a really good work session yesterday with the attorney prepping for that meeting. And so the attorney committed to us to have his work done for us to review this week, and then final work done by the 3rd so that we can publish the entire packet well ahead of time. Because I think you're going to want to take time to read through the materials and make sure you're comfortable with what we're talking about and presenting. It includes just a couple of things. We're going to introduce following what the city does, and anything we vote on of substance will become a resolution that has a numbering system that's consistent with how the city does their recording. That's going to help keep everything organized moving forward. We'll have probably 4 different resolutions on February 7th. One will be to basically modernize our bylaws. And so the main thing you'll see there, I think, besides guidance on how to do Quorum requests for the public and how that process flows, the main thing you'll see is that in 2019, the Colorado legislature did a House bill that basically said you did not have to post public meetings in physical locations anymore. You can, if you could post it on the website, that was sufficient. And so that's going to be included in the bylaws. We will take it a step further because we all know there are tech issues. Yesterday, I think the city had some internet issues. So if there's a problem with posting it on the website for timing purposes, we're going to designate a physical location of City Hall be the backup in that scenario. So we're kind of thinking ahead on that. The other resolution will be the contract. And so you'll get that ahead of time and have time to review so that we could have good discussion about that. The attorney will ask him to be here in person on the 7th because there's probably a lot of questions he's going to need to answer for us potentially, and also some guidance that he can give us much easier in person in our opinion. And then the 4th is The agreement we had done regarding the V Cup expense, that needs to be amended. So again, that's going to be a pretty good discussion that's relevant and important. And so February 7th is going to be a really important meeting. We also received, I will tell you, our first core request. It was Wednesday, the 18th at 8:48 p.m. So according to state statute, that was not in the business day. So actually the 19th, that Thursday was the first business day after we received the core request. And then state statute says that you have 3 business days starting the day after the first business day. So technically that core request is due today. We've already sent part of it out. We basically sent PDFs of each worksheet for every TIF deal we have, showing the calculations and where the numbers came from. And then today, we have the TIF reimbursement request from when I took over as chair. And we have to get the other 3 from the city, from their records, because I didn't have access to those, or we didn't have access to those. So by the end of the day, we'll have that core request completed. And then we're going to publish every core request on the city website under the DDA space. And so you talked about a work session. I think we need to plan a work session, not before February 7th, but sometime maybe later February, where we do training on the TIF, because that's the next thing we're going to have to make sure we have our hands wrapped around, and on how to access the city site. We're also working on documentation that we can provide the public on how they can find the information they need or want, how to submit a core request, all those kind of things, where things are organized on the site. And so as we build that information out there on the site, it will be a good thing. And I think that's it. Any questions on anything from that? So again, the attorney promises about the 3rd, 2nd or 3rd. We'll have the data we need from him. We would have already done our work to complete the packet. There will be a lot of information, a lot of narrative. I will probably go ahead and put thoughts on every section to kind of primer the discussions. And then we should have a very robust meeting on the 7th. Okay. So with that said, we will move to item 4, ratification of approval of expenses from December 2022. So this is why we're here today. We previously attempted to approve, but again, it wasn't a regular meeting, so it did not count. So to get legal, we need to ratify the approval of these expenses. And we have the expense from Miss Allen. And by the way, I told her she didn't have to show up today, so she's going to do the minutes from the Zoom. And then we have the attorney expenses from December of $362.50. It will be a lot more in January. I can promise you that, in February. So I would entertain a motion to ratify approval of the expenses from December 2022.
Board would resolve to approve the expenses for the December 2022.
Yeah, let's use the word ratify because they've already been approved.
Ratify. Do we have to use the word resolve because we're doing a resolution?
Well, was ratified for now, and then
Okay.
we'll have guidance on the 7th. The attorney's going to talk to us about that. The
Oh.
resolutions are more about, we're going to vote to approve a contract. This is kind of usual and customary business.
Okay.
So I think ratify is the proper language.
Whatever word's appropriate, we'll do it.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second. McCracken will second.
McCracken will second. First hand first. Okay,
Oh.
we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Okay, yes, sir.
Real quick,
Mhm.
I know Rebecca knows, but her name or company name needs to be on the invoice next
Yeah,
time, right?
yes.
We know about that.
Yeah, she already sent it.
Okay.
She has sent it actually last night for today's and that
Okay.
was corrected. I think she switched systems, so. So no other discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Born, yes.
Good, yes.
McCracken, yes.
Gamelke, yes.
Perry, yes.
Neil, yes.
Anderson, yes.
Yes.
All right. Do we want to discuss anything else out there of items not on the agenda?
I see you have a meeting scheduled for July 4th.
Oh, that doesn't work. I think we should change that. I'm not gonna be here.
Just happened to see that, like, oh.
So we move that to the next Tuesday.
Yeah, let's look real quick and make sure we get on the same page
The
before
11th, right?
we publish it.
Okay.
Yeah, so 4th is the first Tuesday, so the 11th. Is everyone okay with the 11th? July 11th? Okay, we'll get that changed.
So change that.
Yeah, we'll get that updated.
February 11th.
July 11th.
Oh, July.
11th,
Yeah,
Oh,
because the 4th falls on a Tuesday.
is it? Yeah.
yeah, I won't be here. So, thank you. Ms.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yeah, it's like
Good
good.
call.
Great catch. See, we're paying attention. and-
Then see her awake. Where the heck is-
I'm all about the details. Believe me.
Perfect. All right,
I have a
uh,
question. You just said we need to have that special meeting before Februafebruary 7th or after?
After.
February?
it's after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. This is not important. How long should we plan for, on the 17th?
If we all do our homework. Which I'm hoping we do and read everything, we come prepared to discuss succinctly and then have votes, probably a couple of hours.
Okay.
I can't account for the public portion of that. We'll limit it to 3 minutes, but since we're talking about 3 or 4 significant things, there could be more public comment. So I think we should plan on it. Maybe plan for 3, hope for an hour and a half.
Okay.
So I hate to say that, but this is probably the most important meeting we'll do all year. If we approve the contract, it goes next to the city council. They have to approve it before we execute. So
Okay.
it's out of our hands at that point. And our intention is to present the city council not only with the contract and the information, but also all the data. Hopefully they would do their homework to make sure they got up to speed on everything. So. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, so we will, any audience participation? Anyone online?
Michael, you got anything?
Michael's good. Anyone online? Do we have anyone online?
Let me check.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Lauren moves to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Again, I take 4, so you guys eat your coffee.